for parts of Alabama, for parts of Georgia, for parts of South Carolina. Those are the areas of greatest concern, and those are areas where we've got active warnings. These areas right here, that's going to expire here in moments. So we're going to be done with those areas. But Columbus, Georgia, Statesboro, Savannah, Charleston, South Carolina, Montgomery, Alabama, these are all spots that continue to brace for severe weather. So we look at what's happening currently on the radar. It's areas south and rotation within the storm. This is moving off towards the south and east. 1:30 the expiration time on this one. We track this out. Communities like Eric at 1:23, Alamo at 1:25, and then Stuckey at 1:30. That warning in effect until about 1:30. Local Road 126. It looks like I can't tell if that's 218 or 216, but we've got some local highways in the path of this storm as it continues, or 319, excuse me. We take you up towards eastern Georgia, getting close to the South Carolina state line. It is Jenkins and Screven counties under a severe thunderstorm warning. National Weather Service noting a tornado possible with this one. So right there, you see a little bit of a notch in this storm, and so that's why they're warning for that tornado possible, but gusty damaging winds likely out of this one. And again, tough to make out, but a little bit of rotation possibly showing up. And again, anytime you see a notch like that, that tells us we could get a quick spin up along the line, that leading edge of those gusty winds. So tornado possible for a place like Millen, although honestly, storm is now moving off to your east. It'll be heading towards places like Rocky Ford and Sylvania. I-26 points to the south. That's where we've got another severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag on this one. This is a considerable threat, so they're warning for very strong winds. Once you get into that considerable category, that would be winds of 70 miles an hour or hail of significant size. And I think we're likely getting some hail out of this one as well. That would be to the east of 95. It is warned for the 70-mile-per-hour winds, but again, I do think here north and east of Walterboro, east of I-95, we are at least getting some hail. And National Weather Service here also putting that tornado possible tag. So not seeing enough rotation to issue that tornado warning, but shelter like you would for a tornado warning, because these winds, 70 miles an hour, are going to take down trees easily. So trees into home are going to be a real threat, but also you get a quick spin up of a tornado along that too, and that just leads to a localization of worse damage. So Holly Ridge, Ridgeville, Somerville, all in the path of this one. Big picture, we got a lot of lightning. Obviously, we've had problems at ATL, the airport there, with delays and folks having to just circle the airport while those storms pass. At this point, I think flights are starting to land again as the worst of the weather moves off towards the south. But you can see the available energy is focused into these areas where the active tornado watches are currently located and building back off to the south and west. So now we look at parts of Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi as we move through the afternoon. These are going to be areas that we watch for storms that produce very large hail and gusty damaging winds. Mike, I think things turn active once again. We'll start in the southern plains. Those storms move east through the evening and overnight hours. So we again could be looking at one of these complexes of thunderstorms traversing across the south tonight.
It's been interesting to watch one area die down, another area flare up, and I'm going to have that forecast for you in just
of the south central. And then as Mike showed us, those storms continue all the way through the southeast into the overnight and morning hours of our Friday. Future radar, we look at Savannah this afternoon. Of course, thunderstorms coming through just in time for your late day drive. So portions of coastal South Carolina and Georgia going to be very, very active through the late day drive time and through the dinner time period. Jacksonville, I think you get in on the storms by mid-evening, so say 8, 9 o'clock, even as late as 10, portions of the I-10 corridor seeing some of those lingering showers. A lot of the activity, though, does move offshore at that point. All right, let's look at what's happening in Dallas and Fort Worth. You've got a good chance of 2-inch or greater diameter hail today. So this is where those storms are really going to get going later today. And then, of course, that complex or cluster of storms moves east through the overnight hours. Dallas to Fort Worth. By midday, I think a few storms get going. The bulk of the action, though, coming through the mid and late afternoon. Take a look. Some big hailers likely, some individual rotating updrafts. So can't rule out a tornado. I do think that hail is going to be one of the predominant threats out of our storms today. And then very, very heavy rain. So could be coming down torrentially along that I-35 corridor. We get you into the late evening. Still a spotty shower or thunderstorm left over, but I don't think we'll see as much as what we will see during the mid and late afternoon hours. Jackson, Mississippi, a torcon of 3 for you. Damaging winds and large hail likely as we get into tonight. So for Jackson, it's going to be later. Obviously, those storms get going across parts of Texas, and they'll continue eastward. So, yeah, some scattered showers and thunderstorms as we move towards the evening. But it's late evening, early overnight that the real bulk of the significant action, Mike, moves through middle parts of Mississippi.
You know, and there's truly nothing we'd rather do than give you a nice awareness tour is underway. A team of hurricane experts and the United States Air Force hurricane hunters making stops in 5 cities in 5 days to help make sure people know their risks ahead of the hurricane season.
Yeah, and as you know, we've been telling you all signs suggest and point to this season being an extremely busy one. Colorado State actually has never issued a forecast like this. That says something.
The weather company, there are 24 named storms for the weather company. You look at the number of hurricanes, the number of major hurricanes, it's pretty significant.
Pretty significant indeed. And our own hurricane expert, former director of the National Hurricane Center, Dr. Rick Knabb, he joins us from the 4th stop on the tour live in Charleston, South Carolina. Dr. Knabb, weather not necessarily cooperating, but of course the mission remains the same to get people ready for this season.
Yeah, it's been a great half of a day here.
Communities in Middle Tennessee, they're getting a break from the rain and now getting a look at the damage caused by last night's severe weather. Our meteorologist Reynolds Wolf is in Maury County, Tennessee, where schools were forced to close today. Reynolds, thank you so much. Time now for a look at your weekend in view. Of course, we are so close, right? It's Thursday, it's Friday Eve, tomorrow Friday, and then smooth sailing into the weekend. And actually, smooth sailing truly, because I think we get a significant break from the severe weather. We also see some cooler temperatures. Chicago only at 66 on Saturday. Atlanta in the low 80s with some morning showers. Dallas 81. Denver 58. Nice and dry across the west. The East Coast, of course, watching for some rain showers to start the weekend. New York with some rain, 55. So that'll feel a little cool, a little raw with the 50s and the rain showers. All right, Sunday is Mother's Day, so you've got plans for mom. You're taking her out and about. Ohio Valley, we've got rain showers, but both Chicago and New York should feature more sunshine than not. Atlanta, nothing but sun and 77 degrees. That's really nice. So if you're doing the outdoor brunch thing with mom, perfect for that. We do have some showers, thunderstorms back into parts of the southern plains, parts of the Four Corners. Still dry, still bright out west. Oh, you've told me about this place.
Where all the unclaimed baggage from cruises and airplane flights, you can go there and get it.
And get some cool stuff.
You actually get some really cool stuff.
Yeah. That's where I got this outfit.
I have been there. This is how we dress ourselves.
You know, another underground, seat 13D, you never look better.
Some real gems.
Right?
Telling you.
It's also where we got our computers. You know, that's how we roll. But that's cool. All right. It's good to know. I still want to go out there because I'm sure you can find some really neat stuff. Severe weather's still an issue out there today, so your doorbell camera may be catching some stuff. Central or 7 o'clock, depending on where you are. So the Charleston, Savannah watch goes a little bit later than the other one until 7 o'clock local time. Got a few tornado warnings into south central Georgia. We've got a few severe thunderstorm warnings along the Georgia-South Carolina state line. And then approaching Charleston, down 26. We got some big-time thunderstorms headed your way. Right now, Crisp, Dooley, and Wilcox counties under a tornado warning. This is just to the north of Cordele. We've got this area of rotation right along 75. So you're looking at kind of a messy picture here. Definitely getting some strong winds approaching into the north side of Cordele, but a little area of rotation there. And this is moving off towards the east-southeast. Listonia, you're going to be up next at 146. Pitts at 205, Rochelle 218, Kramer 229. So as Mike said, lowest level, most interior room. I know a lot of these places don't have basements here across the south, so you're looking for something like a coat closet, an inside bathroom, no windows. Put on shoes should your home sustain damage. That way when you get out there and there's debris, you don't have to be walking through it. Another tornado warning, that would be where the tornado sits. We've likely are seeing some very heavy rain, some possible hail as well on the north side of Alamo. So this is around the Lawrence area there. Again, your area of rotation, Montgomery and Wheeler counties, Glenwood and Mount Vernon also in the path of this one. Mount Vernon, the storm going to approach you at 144, Oak Grove 155, and then after the top of the 2 o'clock hour for Alston. So 2 tornadic storms now into parts of South Carolina. We have been watching severe weather, parts of Georgia as well. Some of these have that tornado possible tag with this one. We do have the gusty wind. This one we don't have the tag, but again, gusty winds possible here. And Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester counties, I-26 east of I-95. We've got very strong winds that are going to be approaching the Charleston community. Charleston right now, you're not under the warning. It really gets right up to the city. So Ladson at 138, Goose Creek 144, North Charleston 203, Mount Pleasant 214, and then Charleston 221. We'll see if that warning is extended into the Charleston metro area. Available energy, you notice something over here, right? A lot of that hot pink. So we're getting up into that high extreme level of available energy. So the Storm Prediction Center has posted a severe thunderstorm watch until 7 o'clock for parts of North Texas and southern Oklahoma. Storms get going here, and they already are. These are big hailers already. Look at the hail cores on some of these, that purple and white indicative. This one actually has the considerable threat tag for very large hail. So they've tracked hail out of this. There are reports of large hail, and that hail could be ping pong ball size or greater in Jack County. This is on the northwest side, well to the northwest, Mike, of Fort Worth.
All right, so a lot of action happening.
Severe weather ongoing across sections of the South today. We're watching South Carolina, Georgia, also Alabama, back into Texas, too. So there's a few zones that we're keeping a very close eye on. Tornado warnings right now active across south central sections of the state of Georgia, and this includes the Cordele area, portions of I-75. So we've got Dooley County here under a tornado warning until 1:45. Byramville, Pinehurst, and Vienna in this tornado warning. Crisp, Dooley, Wilcox to the south under a warning. So 2:15 expiration for you. So a real mess here along I-75. In addition to the possible tornado, we've got really heavy rain coming down. So you're not seeing much of anything for that stretch of 41 or 75. Really dangerous driving conditions. Pitts, Rochelle, Abbeville, Rhine, and Milan in the path of this one. That tornado would be sitting right in that notch, farther up to the north, embedded within that heavy rain. All right, we take you over towards the east. It looks like we're going to let the tornado warning go at 2 o'clock, but we're going to keep a severe thunderstorm warning going for portions of Lawrence County, or rather Montgomery, Toombs, and Wheeler County. Now, they've decided to go with the tornado possible verbiage. And honestly, today, with the winds being an issue as well and how many trees we have across parts of the Carolinas and Georgia, I would shelter like you would for a tornado warning, even if it's just a severe thunderstorm warning, because those winds are going to be really potent. They could easily take down trees. We saw it yesterday. So trees into homes are going to be a real danger. Also likely getting some hail out of this storm. So if you're in Lyons, if you're in Toombs Central, Vidalia, get to that lowest level, most interior room now. Farther up to the north, Bullock and Screven counties under a severe thunderstorm warning until 2:15, watching for gusty winds there, and very heavy rain along I-26 with gusty winds headed eventually towards the Charleston area. Right now it's Goose Creek, Hanahan, and Somerville under the warning. Mike?
All right, we know that the forecast.
Well, it is expected to be a very busy 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. We look at the names. Are we going to go through the entire list? Not out of the question. We start with Alberto. We make our way all the way towards William. And again, we've got that secondary list should we need more. What are some of the names? Debbie, Joyce, Milton. What's going to be the big one? Who knows? Well, we've been predicting and studying hurricanes for years. However, we also know there's still so much more to learn about one of the Earth's most powerful storms. Modern technology helping advance that research, and our meteorologist Stephanie Abrams introduces us to some hurricane hardware. In effect across sections of the South, including South Carolina and Georgia, North Florida now included, and this does encompass the Jacksonville area. So portions of Duval County, including the city of Jacksonville, now under a tornado watch until 9 o'clock local time. 7 o'clock for Charleston, 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central for places like Cordele, Georgia, and Montgomery, Alabama. We do have some active tornado and severe thunderstorm warnings as we speak. To the east of 75, that's been an active spot down here near Cordele. Wilcox County around Abbeville, Pitts, and Rochelle, you're under a tornado warning. There would be our area of rotation, not too far from Abbeville. This storm is moving off towards the south and east. Owensboro, Sibby, Queensland, Temperance, and China Hill, some of the communities in the path of this one. Up here, we've got an observed tornado. So this is a confirmed tornado, getting some hail on the south side of Vidalia. Montgomery, Toombs, and Wheeler counties are the counties included in this tornado warning until 2:30 local time. Highway 1, this storm's going to move right over you. Honestly, at this point, it probably is because, the radar's a moment behind. So again, this is a confirmed or observed tornado. Ponderosa, Ohoopee, Collins, and Manassas, some of the communities in the path of this one. State Road 292 and 280 in the path of this one. All right, then we've got I-26, portions of the Charleston metro area now under the severe thunderstorm warning. So earlier we said it got up to Charleston. Now it includes Charleston, Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester counties, including very populated areas like Mount Pleasant, North Charleston, Charleston downtown. Goose Creek, your arrival is 156 for those gusty damaging winds. Hanahan at 2 o'clock, North Charleston 208, Charleston 221. So expect not just gusty damaging wind potential, but also torrential rain. Available energy, you're noticing something, right? We've got the tornado watches down here where we've got at least enough available energy, but it is huge across sections of the south central and mid-south. So Texas over to parts of Mississippi, that available energy has been increasing substantially. Severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 7 o'clock, and the severe weather is showing up and showing out in a big way. Jack, Montague, and Wise counties here under an observed severe thunderstorm warning. There is hail out of this one and big hail. That's why we've got the considerable threat tag on this. To the east of Jacksboro, hail over 3 inches in diameter is what's being estimated by the radar. Okay, usually we take a little bit off, but we are talking baseball-sized hail out of this storm. And, you know, the telltale signs, almost that heart shape to the radar image, that would be a very, very tall updraft. This storm farther to the north also warned for some massive hail. We take a look into Oklahoma. It's Comanche, Cotton, and Stevens County, also a considerable threat on this. So, again, very large hail, Mike. Radar estimation here, 2-inch diameter hail. So we're talking around ping-pong egg-sized hail out of this one.
It's already been
a terrible week thus far, starting on Monday, continuing yesterday, and even today. We've got active watches and warnings. Storms exploding now across parts of Texas, too. So another round coming in. We've got so much to dive into. I'm Alex Wilson here with Mike Bettis. And, of course, our hurricane expert, Dr. Nab, is out there on the hurricane awareness tour.
He's gonna report from Charleston, where they also have severe weather, by the way. And so the Hurricane Hunter airplane took off because they didn't want to get hit by the severe weather. But we might get a double dip from him. He's going to update us on severe weather and what we can do for ahead of hurricane season.
Well, some hard hit areas across the south. They are here in the state of Georgia, not too far from Savannah. We'll show you that in a moment. I want to start with the active watches that Mike mentioned. So until 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central for parts of Alabama and for parts of Georgia. Then we've got Charleston and Savannah under the watch until 7 o'clock. Farther to the south, we've got Valdosta, Jacksonville, Florida under the tornado watch until 9 o'clock local time. Currently, warnings in effect to the south of I-16 there in the state of Georgia, and a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings. One also in effect for Charleston, South Carolina. But we start here. We'll go left to right. Dodge, Telfair, and Wilcox counties under a severe thunderstorm warning. Little notch on this one, so tornado possible tag. As I've been saying, honestly, I would treat a severe thunderstorm warning today like a tornado warning, because these storms are packing a wind punch, and we know how many trees are in South Carolina and Georgia and North Florida. So trees coming down onto homes and onto vehicles will be a real danger today. Toombs County right here would be where that tornado is sitting. Santa Claus and Toombs Center, some of the communities in the path of this one until 2:30 local time. There's that area of rotation again right over Toombs Central. That will continue off towards the east. We track this out. We've got New Branch, Hewland, and Tyson in the path of this. Tyson, Hewland not under the tornado warning now. We'll see if that is extended. Up to the north, we've got Candler, Evans, and Tatnall under a tornado warning until 2:30 local time. We track this out. Again, this whole thing is warned for gusty winds. So here we've got those winds propagating off towards the east, but could also see a tornado spin up Collins, Manassas, Belleville, Claxton, Daisy. Again, get to that low spot, that most interior room. Just be in that safe location because of the wind and then the possible tornado as well. Charleston, South Carolina. We've got Charleston, Dorchester, and Berkeley counties under the warning until 2:45. Gusty winds along this line of storms that's headed down 26. So travel not easy. It's wind and it's big time rain coming down. North Charleston, 2:15 local time arrival for you. Mount Pleasant, 2:23. Charleston, 2:27. And then at the beach at 2:42. Folly Beach at that time. So hopefully you're clearing the beaches if you're out there for a walk today. And as we said, Dr. Nab's there in Charleston. They've already cleared the plane out of the area. Available energy, it has been building in a big way. We've got high levels of available energy across parts of Mississippi and Louisiana and Texas, and storms taking advantage of that across North Texas. We've got a blow up there down towards Houston as well. And these storms are huge hailers into North Texas. We've got a few warnings and a severe thunderstorm watch. This also includes southern sections of the state of Oklahoma. We look at this one, big time hail, and now a destructive tag on this. So now we're going massive hailstones. So we're above baseball in size, and now we're getting into the kind of hail that's going to do significant damage to homes, to vehicles, to anyone or anything outside. 2.5 inches being estimated here by the radar, but I would be accounting for the fact that we could see 3-inch or greater diameter hail out of this one. So that's why the National Weather Service has gone with the destructive tag. And sure enough, here, when you look at the hail track, over 3 inches is being estimated. Up into parts of southern Oklahoma, considerable threat on this. This storm likely producing 2-inch or greater hail, so that's egg size or larger. It is Comanche County, amongst others, under the severe thunderstorm warning. And again, over 2-inch diameter hail. This is going to continue off to the north and east. Duncan and Comanche both in play for some of that large hail as this storm moves into and through southern Oklahoma. These storms keep going across sections of Texas. Then our cluster moves east through the later evening and overnight hours. So going to be another really, really dangerous day across the south. And it's not just the severe stuff, but also the really heavy rain. We'll continue to watch for water issues across an already very waterlogged south.
Absolutely, it is.
Get you the timing for some of these cities. Of course, also watching the southeast. But Dallas, you've got that threat of hail. And sure enough, it's already been checked off. We've got storms off towards the Jacksboro area that are producing over 3-inch diameter hail right now. So this is verified. And again, likelihood of hail continues through the second half of today into tonight here across Texas. I do think we watch the storms we've got now. We'll see more coming for the afternoon. And look at how massive these storms are. Big time updrafts capable of sustaining big time hailstones. So got to watch for that, not just for North Texas, but into southern Oklahoma as well. There at 5 o'clock. Look at that storm moving along the interstate. Again, the white, the purple that you see on that future radar, that's indicative of that massive hail potential. Then our storms continue east overnight. I think then we translate over to more of a damaging wind and heavy rain threat through the sleeping hours for portions of the Mid-South. Savannah, Waycross, Jacksonville. Of course, these areas are under tornado watches as we speak. We've got those storms continuing to move off towards the south and east through the dinnertime hours. Jacksonville, I think it's like 8 o'clock for you. Again, possibility of a tornado, but gusty, damaging winds could bring down trees. And Mike, that's why we've been saying treat a severe thunderstorm warning like a tornado warning today with that risk of falling trees.
Definitely going to be a risk today. And hurricane experts and United States Air Force hurricane hunters making stops in 5 cities in 5 days to help make sure that people know their risks ahead of the hurricane season.
Yeah, and as you may know, all signs suggest this season could be a very busy one. In fact, Colorado State has never issued a forecast like this. The numbers also extremely high from the weather company. On average, you get about 14 named storms. We're going in the low to mid 20s.
It could be extremely active. It's all because of what's happened now with El Nino and La Nina, basically the driver behind these forecasts.
Absolutely. And our own hurricane expert, former director of the National Hurricane Center, Dr. Rick Knabb, joins us from the 4th stop on the tour, Charleston, South Carolina. I know the weather has not been cooperative, so you've moved locations, but you're doing double duty. You're letting us know about hurricane season and also watching those storms.
Yeah, we have some nasty lightning just to the north.
Not had a single day without a tornado report, and last night was no exception. A tornado emergency was in effect for the town of Henniger, Alabama, late last night. CBS News correspondent Manuel Bajorquez has the very latest. Those little bushes in the front yard are like barely hanging on. They're like, oh.
They did it, though.
They
did. When all is said and done, they're still standing.
They did the darn thing. We went out the next day and salute them. They hung in there. Welcome back into Weather Underground on this Thursday. Thanks for hanging out with us. Alex Wilson, Mike Bettis, Dr. Knabb, our hurricane expert. He's actually at the Hurricane Awareness Tour, but he's also doing severe duty, too, as he's in Charleston.
There's a big line of storms coming in there to the low country, so we'll check in with him in just a little bit. He'll give us an update on those storms and what you can do ahead of hurricane season as well. But right now, let's take you to Savannah, Georgia.
fortified vitamins for the storms. Unfortunately, that has resulted in active tornado watches. Charleston to Savannah until 7 o'clock local time, until 5 Eastern, 4 o'clock Central for these areas. And then farther to the south, Bainbridge, Valdosta, North Florida, including Jacksonville, Duval County. I was told I did not give it enough L's until 9 o'clock local time. Look at all these warnings. As Mike said, Savannah knocking on your doorstep. So again, that line of storms just marching your way. Gusty, damaging winds, the primary threat out of these storms. We've also got warnings in Charleston. But let's look at this one west of Savannah. This one's probably producing some hail as well. You can see that little hail core to the east of the Highway 25 icon. Tornado possible tag on this. We do have some kinks in the line, especially right here near Claxton. But really what we're looking at is a push of strong winds. So what I would say is, regardless of if there's a tornado or not, lowest level, most interior room where you want to be, because falling trees are going to be a big issue. We've got a lot of trees across parts of Georgia and South Carolina and North Florida, so that's going to be a real concern today. An observed threat, or rather, an observed severe warning. We've seen reports of strong winds, and again, possibility of some hail. Considerable threat means winds could exceed 70 miles an hour out of these storms. Again, Charleston area, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. That wind right on your doorstep. Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester counties under the warning until 2:45 local time. These storms have been marching down Interstate 26 into parts of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. The available energy is high, and these storms are taking full advantage. Take a look up here in North Texas and southern Oklahoma. We have some massive hailstones coming out of storms, and that's why the Storm Prediction Center did issue that severe thunderstorm watch. Take a look at all the warnings. Montague and Wise counties, considerable threat on this because of the possibility of 2-inch or greater diameter hail. So again, we're talking massive hailstones. That would be about egg size or larger. Big hail out of this storm north of Jacksboro into southern parts of Oklahoma. And the storms get going, Mike, today across parts of Texas. They'll continue east late tonight and overnight.
All right, and then
another day of active weather, another day with a lot of tornado watches in effect. Charleston and Savannah under a tornado watch until 7 o'clock local time. Vidalia, Cordele, and Montgomery, Georgia and Alabama until 5 Eastern, 4 Central. And then farther to the south, we got Waycross and Bainbridge, Georgia, Jacksonville, Florida under the tornado watch until 9 o'clock local time. Severe weather ongoing. A lot of these warnings are for wind. Some storms producing hail, but potent wind and wind damage that'll accompany that out of these storms that are rolling towards Charleston and Savannah as we speak. They've been rolling down into the south of Interstate 16. A considerable threat tag on this. Also tornado possible. So 70-mile-per-hour winds possible out of this storm in Bryan, Evans, and Liberty counties. Think you could also be seeing some hail, but tornado possible. With that said, 70-mile-an-hour winds are going to easily take down trees. So lowest level, most interior room. Think about, where are the trees around your home? Make sure you are away from them. And now is not the time to get out on the roads because trees onto vehicles will also be a concern. Savannah, timing for you is 3:28. So less than an hour from now, those storms will be working through your area. But Pembroke in the short term, Hinesville and Richmond Hill dealing with the storm. And Charleston, you've got the storm right now moving in. Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester are the counties under the severe thunderstorm warning until 2:45 local time. We time this out again. Charleston now, Folly Beach within the next 15 minutes. Radar and available energy. The available energy has been rising big time across parts of Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. Storms are already taking advantage of that, especially here in North Texas and southern Oklahoma. We've got a severe thunderstorm watch for the counties in yellow. New tornado watch here includes Dallas, Fort Worth, Waco, and Abilene until 9 o'clock. Mike, storms really get going here. Tornadoes and massive hail possible. And then those storms will continue east through the evening and overnight.
All right, Alex.
Severe weather this time across sections of the southeast and the south central. We've got active tornado warnings for all the areas in this red coloring. Charleston to Savannah, Jacksonville, as far west as Montgomery. Montgomery, Alabama under the watch until 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central. So depending on where you are, I guess Montgomery, you're Central time, so 4 o'clock local time. A lot of the storms into the state of Georgia right now. A little bit of South Carolina included along 95. You're going to see the weather worsen there off to the south of Orangeburg. But Savannah, you find yourself under that severe thunderstorm warning. It's Bryan, Chatham, and Effingham counties under the warning. This storm has been producing some very strong winds, and they're keeping that tornado possible wording on this warning. So Pembroke, Trinity, Bloomingdale, Pooler, Savannah, Be prepared for downed trees. I mean, you're going to get those out of the gusty, damaging winds. Could see some localized power outages as well. The issue is you can also get a tornado spin up pretty quickly along that line, and so that'll lead to a localized worsening of the damage. So keep that in mind. We could see a little bit of hail out of this system as well to the west of 95. But again, you can see the propagation of these storms. It is wind that is threat number one, and a lot of heavy rain. We've already seen flash flood warnings today. Would not be surprised to see more water issues as the afternoon wears on. Charleston, right now, you've got the rain falling. The heavier stuff is off to the south, no longer under that severe thunderstorm warning as that storm has weakened. Still some gusty showers, though, around. We get you back into parts of the mid-south and south-central, and boy, available energy has been on the upswing. We've got high levels of available energy, and storms are taking advantage. Storm Prediction Center has issued a tornado watch for Dallas, for Fort Worth, for Abilene, and for Waco. This also includes parts of I-20 and I-10 until 9 o'clock Central Time. To the north, we've got a severe thunderstorm watch. This is where storms are already producing some extremely large hailstones. Garvin, Grady, and McLean County here on the south side of the Oklahoma City metro area. Considerable threat due to large hail here, so 2-inch or greater in size. That would be about egg size or larger. This storm has a history of producing some massive hailstones. Cook, Denton, and Wise counties under the severe thunderstorm warning. Considerable threat for this. Again, 2-inch or greater diameter hail. That's going to move right over I-35. Off to the south, this one's a beast, Shackelford County. And again, you see that heart shape. This is because the winds aloft are actually going around the storm because our updrafts are so high and, Mike, so strong. That's why they're upholding such large hailstones. You can also see the outflow coming out of this one.
Yeah, that's a very intense storm, no doubt about that.
By the way, we've also got a tornado watch into parts of Texas, severe thunderstorm watch as well, and that extends into parts of south central Oklahoma.
All right, welcome in, everyone. You are watching Weather Underground with Alex Wilson. I'm Mike Bettis. As we mentioned, we're going to check in with Dr. Rick Knabb in Charleston, South Carolina here a little bit later in the show.
Yeah, this week's been a really active one when it comes to severe weather. Honestly, May overall has been hugely active. It's typically our busiest month, but boy, has it been delivering. We look at what happened in Alabama last month, leafed out trees and very strong winds. That's exactly what we've got out of the storms today. And tornado watch is posted because in addition to the gusty winds, you can see a tornado spin up. So really falling trees are going to be the issue, whether or not it's a tornado that does it or whether it's a severe thunderstorm warning. Trees onto homes, trees onto vehicles. Active tornado watch is in effect. The farther south you are, the later the watch goes. So Jacksonville, your watch extends until 9 o'clock Eastern time. Right now, we've got the storms approaching Savannah. We've got the storms to the south of I-16. That's where some of the most potent wind gusts have been. Charleston no longer under the warning. Rain continues there in the low country of South Carolina. But we take you to Bryan, Chatham, and Effingham counties. So storm not quite to Savannah just yet, but you're going to notice those skies really darkening off to your west. Tornado possible tag on this, but gusty winds across the board. So what you see sometimes with a line like this is you can get a tornado spin up along the line, and that'll exacerbate the damage locally, but damage across the board from Rincon all the way down this line because these storms are producing gusty winds and probably some hail in here. You notice some of the pink coloring? That's the hailstones. That could be on the severe side as well. So maybe 1-inch diameter hail possible, but I'd be most concerned about the wind. Rain falling in Charleston right now. Again, very soggy, so we could see some water issues with some persistent rain. And then back into parts of Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi. The available energy, it's there. It's ripe for the picking, and unfortunately the storms are doing just that, taking full advantage. Storm Prediction Center has issued a tornado watch until 9 o'clock for Dallas, for Fort Worth, for Waco, for Abilene, and spots in between. Farther to the north, we've got a severe thunderstorm watch, and already we've got some beastly thunderstorms here. This one a considerable threat because of 2-inch or greater diameter hail. It's Garvin, it's Grady, and McLean County in Oklahoma. So we are south of the Oklahoma City metro area, and again, 2-inch or greater diameter hail. Hail estimate not as high, but again, that considerable threat tag on that. They use that for either 70-mile-an-hour winds or significant hailstones. We look at the hail track on this one, and this has a history of producing some pretty massive hailstones, so over 2 inches in diameter throughout the lifespan of this storm. So we could see that moving forward. Cook, Denton, Wise County observed. So we've seen the reports of large hail, and the considerable threat tag again tells us that 2-inch or greater diameter hail is possible out of this one. This warning in effect until 2:45, and I-35 is in play. So that storm's going to be moving over I-35, bringing those massive hailstones. Now is not the time to get out in your car on that roadway. Eastland and Stevens County, big hailstones coming out of this storm as well. The updraft is very strong, and you can see the winds coming out of this, kicking up some outflows. 3 o'clock is the expiration on this warning to the north of I-20. Mike?
All right, Alex, thank you for that.
And again, the storm's taking full advantage of that. Dallas, Fort Worth, Weatherford, down to Waxahachie. We've got the threat for 2-inch greater diameter hail. We've already seen that around the Jacksboro community, so we've got it. It's verified, and we've got more big storms on the way. A tornado watch is in effect for Dallas and for Fort Worth. You can see by mid-afternoon some big-time thunderstorms off to the west. They'll be moving through the metro just in time for the late-day drive. And I say that obviously with irony, because you don't want to be out there on the interstates when we've got storms that look like this. Big hailstones, possible tornadoes. So please keep that in mind. If you're able to, do a half day, maybe come back midday right now around lunchtime and, finish work from home, or just stay a little late. I know I hate suggesting it because everyone's like, stay at work late. Don't want to do that, I know, but you don't want to be out on the roadways. Moral of the story. Moving into the evening, spotty shower, thunderstorm a possibility, but for the most part, we will see things winding down the later we get in the day. Jackson, Mississippi, a torcon of 3 for you. Damaging winds and large hail, both likely here across central parts of the state of Mississippi. Your timing is going to be later because, again, the storms that get going across parts of Texas and Louisiana, they get moving through Jackson. We've got storms, again, firing up through the mid and late evening hours, so it might be after you've gone to bed that the worst of the storms moves through, continuing into the early morning hours. I think by 3, 4, 5 o'clock, things wind down, so your morning commute should be okay. Areas farther to the east, not as lucky. Birmingham, you've got the possibility of some strong winds farther to the south where we've got the darker shade of blue. That's where the winds are more likely. Anywhere in this zone, for the most part, though, could be looking at 75-mile-per-hour or greater winds. That would be hurricane force. And, Mike, when we look at the timing here, we get that break after this morning and early afternoon storms, but by mid-evening, storms begin to fire. We move into the overnight hours, and take a look as a complex moves through. Very heavy rain could lead to some water issues, too, for your Friday morning drive.
Just too much rain. Well, the 2024 Hurricane Awareness Tour is underway, and a team of hurricane experts and United States Air Force on hand, making 5 stops in 5 cities to make sure that everyone is prepared ahead of hurricane season.
Absolutely. And as you know, all signs suggest this season could be a really, really busy one. In fact, Colorado State has never issued a forecast like this. 23 named storms, well above the average of 14. 5 major hurricanes.
They are big numbers. There's no doubt about that. And our hurricane expert and former director of the National Hurricane Center, Dr. Rick Knapp, is in one of those cities. It's Charleston, South Carolina today, Dr. Knapp. I know they had to bug out early because the storms got them there, but what's the message to Charleston ahead of this season, which could be incredibly active?
Since Hurricane Hugo.
Hard-hit communities in Middle Tennessee, they're getting a break from the rain and now getting a look at the damage caused by last night's severe weather. Meteorologist Reynolds Wolf is in Maury County, Tennessee, where schools were forced to close today. Since the start of the year, almost 3 feet for places like Shreveport and Jackson, over 25 inches in Montgomery, over 28 inches in New Orleans, over 24 inches in Atlanta. So huge rainfall amounts, grounds are saturated, and we just continue to add more and more in the mix with the really soggy pattern that we continue with, especially within the last 7 days. We showed you that flooding in Kentucky and Tennessee and North Georgia and the Carolinas, plenty of 5 to 8 inch totals. Also parts of Texas seeing some of those heftier amounts. And the radar estimated rain just within the last 48 hours has been on the high side. Of course, I accidentally skipped by it as it plots itself. But look at this. Some of these areas, 8 to 12 inches just within the last 48 hours. So that's why we had those flash flood emergencies on the north side of Nashville yesterday. Cross Plains had significant flash flooding of Dareville, Kentucky, had a rescue of a man on his roof. And then in Springfield, there was a water rescue as well. So big water problems continue in the south.
I feel like we see a lot more weather. I know a lot of people have them like for security, but I feel like we see a lot more weather than we do like, porch pirates.
Yeah, I guess. Well, weather's also like porch
but I'm
pirates.
okay with that. I love to, maybe crime's down and tornadoes are up.
I don't necessarily think that's the case. I just think we really like to look at the weather videos. And like the porch pirates, a dime a dozen.
Yeah,
right? We're like, we've seen somebody
those are
steal
every
my
day.
package.
Now
But
that
look
we
at
have,
his lightning.
now that we have Mark Rober, and he's hitting them with fairy dust and stink bombs and stuff. And no one wants to steal packages anymore.
Yeah, now we're over it. We've moved on. We're back to the squirrels leaving on the window. Active tornado watch continues for Charleston. I think the worst of the weather has moved off to your south for the short term. Jacksonville, you're under the watch until 9 o'clock. Same for Valdosta. Right now, some of the worst of the weather is south of Savannah and around Savannah. Also back into West Georgia. We've got a tornado warning here on this line of gusty winds. So all of these warnings are for winds. Could see some hail out of these storms, but I'd be most concerned about the wind. But Appling, Pierce, and Wayne counties, we've got a tornado warning. You see that little appendage, and there's that area of rotation. So those pixels up against each other, that's where we could be seeing a tornado. Screven in the path of this one, O'Neill, Manningtown, and Belle Vista. It's just some of the communities under this tornado warning. Up to the north, Savannah remains under a severe thunderstorm warning for gusty winds. Those are just about to make their way into your area. Bryan, Chatham, and Effingham counties, again, under the warning. The reds are moving away from the radar, but you can very clearly see that leading edge of wind. And this has gone perpendicular to 95. So you're a high-profile vehicle on 95. You felt that wind gust move overhead. And again, could be seeing some hail and torrential rain down here approaching 95, closer to, areas between Savannah and Brunswick. Back to the west, available energy has been building and storms taking full advantage of that. We've got huge hailstones coming out of storms already and a tornado watch in effect until 9 o'clock. This includes Dallas-Fort Worth. Farther to the north, a severe thunderstorm watch is in effect. South of Oklahoma City, severe thunderstorm warning for Cleveland, McLean, and Oklahoma counties. This includes Norman and Noble and Goldsby have seen some large hail out of these storms. Could see 1+ inch diameter hail. This storm in Cook and Denton County, considerable threat tag tells us we could see 2-inch diameter hail out of that one. This storm also producing some large hail, considerable threat on this. Observed hail. So Montague County under a severe thunderstorm warning. Bowie and St. Joe under this warning. This includes parts of Highway 287, Palo Pinto County, big hail there, Grayford and Mineral Wells. And just to the southwest of that, we've got another beast of a storm producing hail. This one for Eastland and Stevens County. So big storms causing big problems. And Mike, that actually continues east all the way through the overnight.
It really...
Storms across parts of the south right now. We've got active tornado watches and severe thunderstorm watches back into Texas. It's all tornado watches here across the southeast into North Florida. This includes Jacksonville. You're under the watch until 9 o'clock. Charleston, Savannah until 7 o'clock. Actually have some potent storms moving into Savannah as we speak. A closer look, in addition to Savannah, farther to the south and up against 95, damaging winds will be the main concern. However, tornado warning remains in effect along this line. So that could lead to a worsening of the damage. It's Pierce and Wayne counties here in southeast Georgia under this tornado warning. Communities to the north of Patterson. Screven, one of the communities in this one. Again, this line is headed towards 95. So 95, you're going to be up against some very potent winds, very heavy rain, maybe even some hail out of this little cluster here that has a tornado warning on it. Savannah, you have seen the worst of the weather move in right now. So gusty winds, and it is coming down. The rainfall, Montgomery, Savannah, and Wilmington here under the warning. So now the National Weather Service has extended that warning all the way to the coastline. North of Waycross, again, gusty winds and torrential downpours. That's been the story across the south. More storms building back to the west here across the southern plains, Oklahoma and Texas. Very active already, and Storm Prediction Center has issued watches there. Tornado watch in effect until 9 o'clock for Dallas, for Waco, Fort Worth, and Abilene. Farther to the north, we've got a severe thunderstorm watch for southern Oklahoma into extreme north Texas. South of Oklahoma City, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning that will move off towards the southeast side of town. Cleveland, McLean, and Oklahoma counties under the warning. Large hail out of this one. That's along I-35 right now. Collin, Denton, and Grayson counties under a severe thunderstorm warning. This storm producing hail 2 inches or larger, so egg size or larger out of this one. Moving to the south side of Sherman. We've got hail out of this storm in Montague County in North Texas. Considerable threat again for this one. So that's either for hail 2 inches or greater or winds 70 miles an hour or more. So hail has been the big issue with the storms today. Palo Pinto, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. Large hail out of that one. And off to the southwest of there, we've got another area under a warning on the north side of I-20. So the good news here is these storms staying north of I-20 right now. But these storms move off towards the east, get into these more populated areas like Fort Worth and Dallas for the mid and late part of the afternoon. Could lead to a very dangerous drive time, Mike. In addition to the big hail, tornadoes possible.
All right, Alex, thank you for that.
Really important, even for people who are brand new to the Charleston area, to find out what zone they're in, because it might have changed.
Yeah, hugely helpful. And again, as you pointed out, a lot of people have moved across sections of the southeast and south central U.S. We've got active tornado watches until 7 o'clock for Charleston and Savannah, until 9 o'clock for Jacksonville and Valdosta, until 4 o'clock central time for Montgomery, Alabama. You can see Montgomery, you haven't seen as much activity as we've been getting across parts of Georgia. That's really, the main spot for the severe weather right now. Gusty, damaging winds, torrential rain, and we do have a tornado warning that continues here to the west of I-95. It is Glynn and Wayne counties. Could be getting some hail back here into this storm. But again, what we're seeing is this little shift in wind along that area where you can see some of the blue up against the red there. Well, Cox and Darien and Valona, Sapelo Island in the path of this tornado warning. What you do need to know is greens are moving towards the radar. What we've got is really, really strong wind gusts all along this line. Could see a spin up along the line that would lead to some worsening of damage, but really anywhere on this line, we could see downed trees and power outages because of the potency of these winds. South of Savannah, east of Savannah, Bryan and Chatham counties still under the severe thunderstorm warning. Now, Savannah, you're just in the mix with the heavy rain, so could have water problems as well. These areas have been really saturated, and the rain continues to fall. Heavy rain along I-75 in spots. I mean, you're going to be up against some blinding rain. The windshield wipers will be at their highest setting, but won't be able to keep up in locations. So keep that in mind for any travel plans that you may be able to adjust if you absolutely have to get out there. It's not going to be, the fastest time ever that you make that stretch. Into parts of Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas, available energy has been building, and storms are really, really strengthening across North Texas and into Oklahoma. Big hail out of a lot of these, but a tornado watch is also in effect until 9 o'clock. Abilene to Dallas-Fort Worth, down I-35 towards Waco. Up I-35 in southern Oklahoma, extreme North Texas, we've got a severe thunderstorm watch. Again, storms have been producing some pretty epic hailstones. This one in Cleveland, McLean, and Oklahoma County. This has moved off to the east of Norman. Watching for hail 1 inch in diameter or greater. Could see 2-inch diameter hail here in Collin, Denton, and Grayson counties, so egg size or larger. This storm also producing egg-sized or larger hail. It's an observed warning because this storm has been producing the large hail. Palo Pinto County, big hail out of this one, beginning to develop a hook. So again, Mike, we've got these storms with really strong rotating updrafts. That's why we've got that tornado watch. Wouldn't be surprised to see warnings here within the next hour or two.
It could happen a lot.
Across the southeast, but also into the south central, we've got Dallas, Fort Worth, Waco, Abilene under a tornado watch.
To say the least, we got a lot to talk about. Thanks for being with us here on Weather Underground. I'm Mike Bettis.
I'm Alex Wilson. Dr. Nab, as we mentioned, out there on the Hurricane Awareness Tour. We're going to be checking in with him. He's in Charleston, which also got severe weather today.
He was a severe weather reporter.
Yeah.
He was a hurricane expert today, so he's pulling double duty.
Yeah.
But stick around. He's got some tips for the upcoming hurricane season for you there in the Palmetto State. But let's talk about the severe weather. We're in recovery mode. Severe weather. We're in recovery.
Some of these areas overnight and into tomorrow, we could see more issues with trees. I mean, wet ground, gusty winds, that's like the equation to get down trees, and unfortunately that's what we've got. Tornado watches active everywhere. You see the red. The areas that we're most concerned about now would be the Brunswick to Waycross to Jacksonville corridors, sections of south central and southwest Georgia as well. Those watches continue until 9 o'clock local time. Got a tornado warning here on Interstate 95 in Georgia. Closer look at this one. It's Glynn and Wayne counties under the tornado warning until 4:15 local time. Very heavy rain coming down with this, and this is again going to move right over Interstate 95, McIntosh County, including the city of Darien under the warning as well. There's a look at the velocity product. So what you're looking at are greens and blues are moving towards the radar, reds moving away. So where we have those two meeting up in what we would call a couplet, that's where we've got that area of possible rotation. So places like Altamaha Park, Darien, and Sapelo Island, you guys are under that tornado warning. That storm continues here through the next 20 minutes before it reaches the coastline. Bryan and Chatham County. So areas really now at this point right along the coast. That's where the wind is. So I actually think the worst of the wind now probably moving offshore. Very heavy rain, though, continues even on the backside of those strong winds. I-75, I-16. Travel is just going to be an absolute mess out there this afternoon. And available energy has been high across sections of the mid-south and southern plains. And storms, you can see, are taking full advantage of that. We've got storms building into parts of Texas and Oklahoma. Right now, Cleveland and Oklahoma counties under a severe thunderstorm warning until 3:15. That's to the east of Norman. Collin and Grayson County. Big hail coming out of this one on the southwest side of Sherman. We got big hail in Cook and Montague counties here to the east, or rather west of I-35. So I-35, you had that first storm move overhead. Now you've got the next one off to the west. That'll bring hail over the interstate. Back towards Mineral Wells, Palo Pinto County under a severe thunderstorm warning. Beginning to see a little bit more of an appendage on that one. So these are supercell thunderstorms that develop those rotating updrafts, strong updrafts that support really large hail. Eastland, Erath, and Palo Pinto counties here along I-20, especially to the north of I-20, under a severe thunderstorm warning. These storms are moving east, so Fort Worth and Dallas, unfortunately, just in time for your late-day drive time. I think we see some big-time thunderstorms moving through, offering up that opportunity, not just for hail, but again, for a possible tornado. Timing this out for you, look at that, 5:01 for Fort Worth. So again, truly right in the mix for your late day drive, probably in Dallas by about 5:45, 6 o'clock local time. So, Mike, our timing is not going to be our friend by any means here across the Metroplex, but that's the forecast for today. Again, no stranger to this kind of weather this time of year, but we got to be aware. Then that complex or cluster of thunderstorms will continue east overnight.
It will. So tonight and
overall expectations for your city. When do you want to avoid being out on the roads? When do you want to be, close to that safe shelter? Well, for Dallas, for Fort Worth, for Weatherford, for Waxahachie, we've got that threat for 2-inch or greater diameter hail. Honestly, we've already seen that verified across the area. Around Jacksboro had a huge hailstorm. These storms continue east right through the Metroplex for your late day drive time. So unfortunately, 5, 6 o'clock could be very active with big hail and possible tornadoes here. Look at the future radar, the purple and the white. That is the hail that's showing up on that future radar. So again, really potent storms within the next hour or two. Those continue east as we move into the mid and late evening hours. So things quiet down the later in the day we get for a place like Dallas or for Fort Worth. Meanwhile, how about Jackson, Mississippi? Torcon of 3 there. So a risk of a tornado. I think it would be isolated, but damaging winds are likely and large hail likely. For you guys, it's going to be a little bit later than Dallas. So now we're looking at mid to late evening hours. You can see drive time is good. We've got some spotty showers mid-evening, but here 9 o'clock, some big time thunderstorms to the south on I-55. Those will move into the metro area by late evening, early overnight. And you can see we stay pretty active 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I think by the time you maybe get up, get out on the roads, 5, 6, 7, things are quieter. But by then we could also still have some water problems that linger. Remember, you're going to get some torrential downpours, so some spots could be covered by water. Keep that in mind. Give yourself a little extra time to get to work. That way you're not feeling rushed and tempted to drive somewhere you shouldn't. 75-mile-per-hour or greater wind threat across sections of South and West Alabama. That includes Montgomery, Demopolis, Selma. Possibility of winds as far north as Birmingham and Gadsden. So damaging winds could bring down trees, lead to localized power outages. Your timing for Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Montgomery. We've got some thunderstorms through the mid-evening hours. Then watch as we get into the overnight. Here come our thunderstorms from out west. They'll keep things very active into the morning. So I think 6, 7 o'clock, 65, I-20 could be very, very soggy, dangerous road conditions. You get those big time downpours coming down. It's tough to see. You're hydroplaning. It's a mess. And again, especially active times, a Friday morning commute. There's a lot of people out on the roads. Mike, just going to be miserable. I mean, thank goodness it's a Friday and not a Monday, but still, you're going to have to give yourself a lot of extra time.
It might be one of those, if I got it. For hurricane awareness tours underway, and a team of hurricane experts and United States Air Force hurricane hunters are making stops in 5 cities in 5 days to help make sure that people know their risks ahead of the hurricane season.
As you may know, as you may have heard, all signs suggest that this is going to be a really busy season. Colorado State, the Weather Channel have never issued forecasts like this, way above average of named storms, of hurricanes, and of major hurricanes.
Of course, our own hurricane expert and former director of the National Hurricane Center, Dr. Rick Knabb, recaps the 4th stop on the tour from Charleston, South Carolina. Very warm, trending in some places 5 degrees above average already before the season starts.
Yeah, it's wild. So again, we're talking about, mid-9th day of May. The month overall has not had a single day without a report of tornadoes. So that is 9 straight days of reports. Last night, no exception. A tornado emergency in effect for the town of Henniger, Alabama late last night. CBS News correspondent Manuel Bajorquez has the latest.
Some of these areas, but yeah, hail has been a big player this week.
It has. It is again today. We've seen hail, 3 inches or more in parts of Texas, and that's what we've got moving through the rest of today. We welcome you back into Weather Underground. I'm Alex Wilson. He's Mike Bettis. Dr. Nab, he's out there on the hurricane tour. It's like a rock tour, Ben. So these areas to the south under the watch until 9 o'clock local time. We have seen a ton of active weather here across parts of Georgia and South Carolina, and soon enough, North Florida. You're going to be in the mix as well. Tornado warning continues there on the east side of Interstate 95, and we still have an area under a severe thunderstorm watch. But notice the severe warnings have gone down, so there's some good news there. We don't have quite the expanse of the warnings that we had, say, an hour ago. With that said, still some gusty winds, and how saturated it is, trees could still come down in sub-severe wind gusts. McIntosh County, east of Darien, that's where we've got the tornado warning currently in effect. So we're really out there in the extreme eastern parts of land, right? This storm is going to be moving out over the ocean soon enough. Same for Brunswick. Honestly, the leading edge of the wind is right there on the coast. Tornado possible tag on this one, so could see a spin up there along the beaches in Glynn County. Sub-severe thunderstorms here for parts of south central and southwest Georgia. They're bringing some potent winds, so please be aware of that. As we look at the big picture, the available energy, it's high across parts of Mississippi and Louisiana and Texas. So, boy, things are active, and they're going to stay active moving forward. Right now, it is all about Texas and Oklahoma. That's where we've got tornado watches until 9 o'clock. This does include Dallas. So you're out there getting a great dinner tonight. Keep that in mind. You're going to be fighting some thunderstorms. So you may want to stay put at the restaurant or the post-work happy hour until the storms pass. Then get out there on the roads. Fort Worth, Waco, Abilene under the watch as well. I-35 corridor, severe thunderstorm watch for you into southern Oklahoma, I-44 as well, Wichita Falls included. We've got Grayson County under a severe thunderstorm warning. Hail, the big threat out of these. Could see gusty winds, but again, these storms have been pretty prolific hail producers. Cook County along I-35. This is your second round of hail. Seeing hail back over towards Bowie, Mineral Wells, Palo Pinto, and Parker counties under the warning here. We've got hail out of this one, and then along I-20, this storm producing hail right over the interstate, Eastland, Erath, and Palo Pinto counties. Mike?
All right, Alex, thanks for that. And
All right, we're getting a little bit of a break in our severe weather across parts of the southeastern U.S. So we take a breather. Still have to be on guard, though, because we've got active tornado watches until 9 o'clock for South Georgia, for North Florida. This includes Jacksonville, so Duval County, looking at you. Savannah, you have been dropped from the tornado watches. The worst of the weather has moved out of your area. So, again, some good news here, some positives. We do have one severe thunderstorm warning right along and to the east of Interstate 95 there in southeast Georgia. This does include the beaches of Georgia. Really, honestly, at this point, the worst of the weather is out over the water. So Glynn County, you're under the warning. Brunswick, you've got the moderate rain still coming down. Tornado possible tag with this in effect until 5 o'clock. But again, the real meat and potatoes of the storm, I think, has now moved off the coastline. We take you back out into the south central. That's where the meat and potatoes are still happening in a very big way. We've got big storms on the north and west side of Dallas. Tornado watch in effect until 9 o'clock local time for Dallas, Fort Worth, for Abilene, for Waco. So I-35, I-20 corridors included. I-35 north of Dallas under a severe thunderstorm watch. That's where we've seen some pretty prolific hail already out of storms today. Grayson County remains under the severe thunderstorm warning. Really, the storm is out of your area along I-20. We've got Erath and Palo Pinto counties. Considerable threat on this for hail greater than 2 inches in diameter, Mike.
All right, Alex, thank you.